raised in Tampa.
We mean what we say and say what we mean is Raiders. We stand on black. The order been judged by 12, never carried by 6, you haters. We stand on black. Build our own empire to focus on kids, go figure. We stand on black. Keep talking that smack, make you eat the grave digger. Why dress on black? Withered the storm when we lost our field. Raiders all right when we signed a better deal. Providence crossed us, yeah, they did us wrong. Arrival for life, wrote them off our favorite song. Ravens met a team of sharks that's ready to bite. Stay ready to not get ready, somebody send that kite. Meet us at the 50-man line, that ish up. Here come our cheer team, killing the back tuck. Owls and alls coming from the sideline specs. The Riverview Raiders are back, really, what did you expect?
Welcome on the cast. This is the Tampa Bay Area Youth Sports live sportscast show. I want to introduce myself. I'm Coach DJ, 6U coach for the Riverview Raiders. And one of our guest speakers tonight is Coach Chris, another 6U coach. Coach Chris, you want to introduce yourself?
I am Coach Chris. I am also on that 6U squad.
All right. We're going to start the show off tonight. I want to speak on the importance of the fundamentals of football. That's a big deal for me because the fundamentals are like the foundation. If that foundation is set correctly, it will take you a long way. Without a good foundation, we're taught that the house crumbles. So I want to start right there. Coach Chris, you got something to expound on about what you see as the importance of that good foundation?
I mean, like you said it, man, it's the basic, the building blocks of, a kid developing into not just a football player or an athlete, but just in life, your when you're a kid, your basics are laid out for you by your parents, like dinner table, manners, respect for your elders, things like that. Those are the fundamentals of how you become as an adult. And, it's better in, like you were just touching on, football, fundamentals, man. Whether or not you continue to move up in football, you need those fundamentals to help you grow as an athlete and as a person as you continue to move up.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. We got a new guest today. We're gonna welcome my brother, Mr. David. Mr. David, welcome to the cast tonight.
How's it going?
Oh, great! Nice to be here.
All right, Mr. David. On the topic of the show tonight, I know we talk off podcasts all the time, and we talk about this stuff. For you, I know we've played many sports together. What's the importance to a good foundation or good fundamentals of any sport? Why is that important to have good fundamentals?
Fundamentals is everything. That's the foundation. You got to have your foundation. You got to be a good team member. You got to show good effort. You got to show the willingness to learn, to want to be coached. You got to be coachable. So all those things, you can't go far without those things. You got to build that foundation first.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I know for me, I've seen over the years, it's fun. A lot of coaches like to run plays. There's nothing wrong with running plays. I think for me is if you can run a play but don't actually understand what that all means, you run out of gas with that down the road as you get older. We got a couple of new guests in the building. We got Coach Ryan from 8U Riverview Raiders, 8U baby. Welcome to the house. Welcome to the house, Coach Rock. Welcome in. Yeah. So for me, none of these kids at this point are going to college tomorrow. They're not going to the NFL. So foundational, everything. Foundation is everything. So for me, I try to make sure we instill that. And we're also being able to compete. You got to be able to compete, but that's something you rep in practice. You start with that foundation, then you rep that competitive nature. So that's what I try to get at with my sport and any sport. And Coach Brian, I go ahead and fill you in. The show's topic tonight is how do the fundamentals of any sport, it can be football, baseball, anything you can think of, how are learning the fundamentals important to any kid at that stage? So, what is your thought on teaching kids the fundamentals and making sure they get that down?
I don't think if they don't have a good concrete base, then they're only going to be able to excel so far because they can get the motions down and things of that nature that are beyond the basics. But if they don't have that basic structure in place, they're only going to be able to excel so far in any sport that you look at, uh, whether it's martial arts to baseball to whatever. You have to work. That's why kids work the weight room first, then they work the conditioning first, and then they get to where they're doing techniques. And without that good solid base in place, I think there's a ceiling for every athlete without a good base.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I
I
absolutely
concur.
agree. I know the first thing I look at when I look at a team that's having issues, that's any team or any athlete, I go back to, okay, what are the first stepping stone to that sport or to that position? And then I look at the athlete, I look at them and I say, okay, do we have that down? And often what I find is they're missing the expertise and the fundamentals of that sport. Because what happens is a lot of coaches and a lot of kids, they like to start off running. And I hear it all the time, even with my 4, 5, and 6 year old. I want to run the ball. I'm like, dude, you don't even know how to block. Running the ball means nothing because half of a running back job, sometimes more than half, is actually
Block.
blocking. So we
Yep.
have to keep that down. And as coaches, it's easy to fall into that cycle. Okay, let me get him the ball. Let me tell him to go this way. Okay, you tell him to go that way, but when he move up next year, he go to the next coach. He don't even know the holes. And if you don't know the holes, you don't understand blocking scheme.
Yep.
Nobody brings a player up just to run the ball. It's more than that. So I try to convey that to my kids and make sure they understand that this position entails more than just running the ball. Matter of fact, that's the last thing we're gonna do. We're gonna learn all the other stuff first. So I go ahead and chime in on that tidbit because that's important to me. I've seen it, and it's been all the way through my career. Even when I was a kid, you have people to go in and they'll tell a kid, okay, run this, go and run this way. Okay, what does that all mean? It means nothing. So that's how I feel about foundation. It's everything, and it gives them that ceiling that's not capable at the top.
Hell, even going back to just basic fundamentals, like that kind of stuff can win a game for you. You get a little bit ahead of yourself, coaches get ahead of themselves, parents get ahead of themselves, teaching their kids extra stuff. And then, you see it's not working, take a step back, go back to your basics, go back to your roots, go back to your fundamentals, work back up.
All right, definitely. All right. I know I'm gonna go back to my brother because we've been playing sports all our lives. So knowing you, David, from your perspective, if let's just say you came in, you came across a team just out of the blue, you the head coach. What's the first thing you think you would start teaching them?
First thing, as a new coach and a new team, first I'm establish I need a baseline. So I
Okay.
need to get the basic fundamentals, see what they can do with those drills, those techniques, what they know and don't know, and then we go from there with the basic fundamentals. That way, I won't get caught assuming that each kid know the basic fundamental.
Okay.
So I would start with the baseline, see what I got. You got to inventory your goods, right? You got to
Yeah.
inventory your goods. So see what I
Yeah.
got, and then I go to the baseline and got my baseline. Now I go to the base fundamentals because even if you're good, you still should be working on the base fundamentals.
Hmm.
The basic fundamentals is the meat of your game, regardless how talented you are. Your basic fundamentals are the meat and potatoes of your game.
Okay. All
Hell,
right.
you can see
So
it all the way up to the collegiate and pro level. Sometimes, those guys forget the fundamentals of what they're doing. So it's
yeah.
always something you can double back to and sharpen, like you said, sharpen that tool.
It's one of the
Okay.
reasons I'm really looking forward to this bye week because I got a whole bunch of kids on 8U that don't have that fundamental base.
Yeah.
Um, and we really need to get back and work our conditioning. Things that we've seen over the last 4 games really shine through when you can tell that someone doesn't have that conditioning as one of their fundamental basics, or that basic stance, or the ability to block, how to put their hands out, where to grab. And, we see all these things, and thank God we got 2 weeks. We're going to try to take it back a step and see if we can re-implement some of those to hopefully give these boys a win.
And
Also,
coach,
I feel like at different age groups in any sport, like the fundamentals change with age. So, us being 6U coaches, the fundamentals they're important, but they're different as opposed to like a 12U or a 14U. Right now, you got these 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. Like we're teaching them how to block, and then I look down, and it's like, why do you have your shoes in the wrong feet? So it's like you really, and that's a real problem in my house, Coach. You know that
yeah.
Austin is every day. I got to teach that kid left and right every day. So the fundamentals are different at every age group and at every experience level too.
So I would say this. I would say yes and no. So for when I look at fundamentals, even at once they get a little older, I think you still have to know how to block. That's one thing. Because I've been on 10U where we've had kids that did not know how to block. If you do not know how to block, you will not win games. That's just
That's
how it
gonna be
is.
a long season.
Yep. So you got to know how to block. You got to know how to tackle. For me to answer that same question I put out is I would start there. Do we fundamentally know how to block and tackle? And then the next thing I would look at, and I'm gonna tell you from experience, I'm a first year head coach, so I did the same thing I'm telling you. Once I find out, once I determine that we need to block and tackle, because I'm probably tell you anything you pick up, you need to make sure everybody know how to do that. The next thing I would figure out is what type of competitive edge I have on my squad, and my coaches will tell you I don't assume anybody have anything. When we bring kids in, they understand one thing. Coach Chris will tell you, you're gonna compete out here. We
Yep.
gonna compete. Every drill we have is about you against him. That's how it's gonna go. You either gonna rise to the occasion or you're gonna get ran over. And usually once a kid get nicked a little bit, they come back and they want to give a little bit more. We've seen this, Coach Chris. I throw a kid out here. He's a real special kid to me. Because when he first came, he was what we would call a more softer kid. Coach Chris can tell you, Marcin, I'm
Yeah.
going to like that because he picked his game up. He's not a kid you're going to come and push over. It's night and day from the kid he was when he first walked on that field.
I
And
could say
that's
that about a couple of kids. Another one I throw in that same conversation. Casey.
Casey. Yep.
Casey, like first couple of weeks, almost the first month of practice, it was that the last one. Is that the last
Mama's
one? Are we
boy.
done? How many more? Now he's like, Coach, I'm ready. Coach, I'm ready. He's like,
Yep.
Coach, you see me? Coach, you see what I did? And it's like that was very surprising.
Yep.
No, so I shouldn't say surprising. Like I didn't know the ability was there or the drive was there, but it's like you just said, you can learn a lot about a kid after you get it, get him put on his ass a couple times.
Yep.
Whether or
Exactly.
not they're going to rise to the occasion or they're going to kind of fizzle into the back.
Exactly. And that's my thing. Blocking, tackling, and make sure they all competitive. If you start there, everything else would just flow. It would just flow. You got to have kids that says, I want to compete. I'm not gonna let the man across from me beat me. You got to have kids that know how to tackle. They rep that in practice all week, all 2 weeks, all 10 weeks. They are sure that if I can get to this guy, I'm gonna wrap him up and take him down. And you got to have kids who know how to block. They got to know how to block and they got to know who to block. If you take care of those 3 areas, everything will start falling in line. And that's why fundamentals are really key to my heart, especially in football, because those three are key to whatever else you want to do.
Those fundamentals will keep you safe too.
Exactly. So I know this weekend, I go ahead and I start with Coach Chris. What did you see this weekend out of any other team? Matter of fact, we'll start with 6U. What did you see that was, I would say, just hit you in a certain way that actually, I'd say, surprised you? What you saw that was good for you this week?
We went through. How do I put it? I wouldn't put it so much as adversity, but there was some times where the laundry wasn't going our way, and instead of the normal arms by the side and grunting and grinding that some of our kids do, they got back up on that line and they ran it again. And there was like four times in a row we bust out for a touchdown, laundry on the field, come back, and the fourth time we got it.
Yep.
There was no laundry and we got the touchdown out of it. So that little bit of resiliency and that attitude that like, all right, we're gonna get it right this time. That was nice to see.
I absolutely agree.
And we had some size discrepancy in that game too. We had, like you said, we had Casey and Marcin and Righteous. Some of our smaller kids on that line going against some of their bigger kids on that 6U team, and I got nothing to complain about, man. They did their job.
Yes, sir. I absolutely agree. And we got OJ in the building. That's one of the 12U parents with no muck ties. OJ, welcome to this cast.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hey, the topic of the evening. I know you got a star-studded son on that 12U Bucks team. So the topic of the evening, when you look at your son, we talk about through any sport. What do you think the importance of the fundamentals was for him to learn, or any kid in any sport when they're coming up as a youngster?
I think that's the foundation, man. You know what I mean? You can be as talented as you want, man. You know what I mean? If you don't know how to play the game as a whole, you know what I mean? Well, after you get to a certain point, you know what I mean, that's gonna matter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's very vital right now. You know what I mean? Some kids grab it, when they younger and able to understand some of the terms quicker than, other kids. But when you get like right now, 11, 12 years old, you know what I mean? The next 3 years, going into high school, bro, that's you're going to want to be on point, man, because they ain't going to really be holding your hand then, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's true, yeah.
So that's what I think,
Yeah, that's my point, that foundation gets to set a 12-year-old up for success, because it's just like math. When you learn how to do math, you start with additions and subtraction. Well, when you go into algebra, you don't know addition and subtraction, you out of gas. You're done.
Facts.
Done. So, that foundation is critical. It's critical. And guys, topic-wise, when we go in here, this can apply to any other teams. I don't care what team we talk about. The topic for me is just the overall gain of things. And we'll go on to 8U. I know everybody probably haven't been at the game and watched these, but anybody want to talk about what they saw and what surprised them with that 8U game this weekend?
I'll say one thing, because I was only there for less than half of the game when I had to take Remington to the ER. But those kids, I don't think any of them expected to walk into that game and really win that game because they all seen the Bucks and they all know how dismantled their team was right before the season started. But the heart that those kids have and the outpouring of support that they gave for one of their teammates when they got hurt and the phone calls and even after a defeat where they didn't even score a point, it was amazing. Their resiliency is awesome, and you can tell that they want to win. They have the drive to win. But like the topic of this conversation is, some of them are very much lacking those fundamentals that we need to win. So, again, I just think their resiliency was amazing. Hopefully someone else got to see the rest of the game and saw something else too.
Yeah, I saw the rest of the game, and I take the same thing. But what I do take is even though they were outmatched, they never quit. And right now, I can work with that. And they are lacking a little bit, and that's something we have to do as coaches to help bring them up. That's our job. That's just what it is. And sometimes in coaching and in sports, I can take you all the way back to Pete Carroll and those Las Vegas Raiders. You have to deal with what you have. You have to coach with what you have. That's just what it is. Nobody want to hear us the excuses, even though they're legitimate. But as coaches, we got to, pick up the pieces, do the best we can with what we have. And I fall on that sword myself. I'm gonna go with what I got. That's what it is. I'm gonna figure out what I have and do the best I can with it. All right,
the Browns have been doing that since the '90s.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The paper bag Browns, baby.
Number one pick can you grab in a draft and still whiff on all of them?
Yeah. It actually comes down to that coaching. You got to know what pieces you have and put them in the right place. That's just what it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All of those guys are pros. So, all right. Anybody saw anything in the 10U game?
That was a dog fight, man. That was. I feel like both teams came in more mentally and physically prepared than what showed. Because I feel like most of that game, that 10U game, was spent in the middle of the field.
Yes.
Neither team was really moving the ball what I would deem successfully. There was a play here and there where you were like, all right, here we go. Now we got a game going, and it's just like something happened. It would be a penalty or a turnover or a penalty. It kind of went back and forth. And then the way it ended was kind of on par with how the whole game went. You're 13 seconds away from an overtime game. One decision made, changed the whole game.
Let me ask y'all this, man. Being that y'all are on the other side of the Bucks, right, in the division. So would they have went to overtime? Do they go to overtime?
I mean, it was 0-0 with 13 seconds left.
Yep.
I think it would have went to overtime, and then it could have been a toss-up.
Okay, so I didn't know what the rules were. I didn't know if they actually play an overtime game. You know what I mean? If the opponent on the other side of the bracket. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that I don't know. I don't know what the overtime rules are and try or anything like that.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what the rules are, but I know I have seen games that have ended in tie. So I would have to look at the bylaws to see what the rules are. But I'm almost certain they would have had at least one shot at overtime. Yeah. And then if nothing happened, they would have went in as a tie. Because I've seen that before over the years. That was actually a very close game, very tight game.
Yeah, I came right at the end, like close to the end myself, man. So, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
that was a defensive battle there for sure.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. The 12U game. Anybody catch some of that? The 12U.
We caught the first. I think we pieced out at around like the middle of the second quarter. I didn't really see much, so I didn't really see much of that game.
All right.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm gonna go. I'll come back to the viewer. We got a viewer comment. I'll come back to that later. But the 12, you actually did see that. That was actually pretty good. At first, it was a good back and forth. And I think the Bucks started getting that momentum on their side. But it was a good back and forth for a while. So I saw about 1.5 quarters of it. So I started had to get out that sun. It was starting to eat away at me. But
Yeah,
I
it
did.
was.
I want to see OJ son play. I ain't seen him play in a while, so I stayed back just to see that kid play. And
Yeah.
I knew they were going to be trying to get him that ball, early and often, and they did. Boy, they did. They know how to use their weapons over there. I got to give it to them.
Yeah. That
So
song was out there. Yeah, we just started playing. I ain't even used to it, man. We just started playing at the hottest part of the day, man. So they were gassed, man. You know.
yeah, it's hot,
What I see.
man. Yeah,
That's a tough time of day to play, man. That sun is peak middle of the sky. So on top of being tired, frustrated, you know things are gonna boil over.
Yeah.
And
It got chippy out there, man. It got
these
chippy.
kids are competitive as hell, man. So you know, I guess everything's gonna piss them off. That sun don't help. Dehydration. It's a parking lot rivalry. You know, tensions are high. Like
Yeah. That's true, man.
that's a concoction for a boil over.
Yeah.
exactly. And before we go to 14U, let me go ahead and address the comment that's in the section here. Miley X6F asks, can we address the sportsmanship, a huddle, and 8U, and maybe coaching fundamentals? Coach Brian, I'll let you go with that, start with that. Because we kind of hit on it a little bit, but we'll go back through it.
Well, I don't have anything on the sportsmanship portion of it because I wasn't there. So I really can't. Sorry, family screaming in the background. I don't really want to speak on something I don't have all the information for.
I got you.
But as far as the coaching fundamentals, I agree that sometimes the coaches in a group can be all over the place, from very experienced to very inexperienced. Unfortunately, in this realm, we are running with volunteers. We're asking people to, out of the goodness of their heart, to take their time and put in effort for the sake of the kids. I totally do agree that we all need to be on the same sheet of music. And I don't think that always happens. And I think as the scores get racked up against us, on 8U in particular, everyone's individual ideas start to come out, and it can look very messy. So we are going to take this bye week very seriously and take this time to really get ourselves on the same sheet of music, go through any fundamental ideations that we need as coaches, and a better way to project things to the kids. Because again, we have kids that are on never played tackle football before, all the way to this is their third, fourth year playing. So, we're all over the page, and we are desperately trying to get everything together.
Yeah, and
hopefully that suffices that question.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak on the huddle itself. I haven't really paid attention to the huddle. Is that something that y'all been working on, or has that ever been an issue? I look at the game in between the lines, so I'm guilty of not looking at the huddle itself. Coach Brian? Oh, he kind of went out.
Hey, sorry about that, DJ. The kids were in the background. I barely heard what you were saying. The huddle.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Well, I think what the question was so after the game where they hand out the awards and stuff, I heard that it was a very cold huddle. Remington and Xander played for the Bucks prior to, and their head coach had said that this was a personal game for him and blah, blah, blah. And there were some other, grown-up issues that were going on during the game, and also, poor sportsmanship. But I really can't speak to that part of the huddle. Our huddle that we're going through for game calling, we have been working that. Our huddle for play calling has come around a lot in the last 3 weeks. We went from not doing one at all to moving forward and having the kids have armbands with plays on them and such.
Okay. That's enough said. That suffice for me, and that's all we need to go in with that. Let's move on to 14U. Did anybody stay back and watch that 14U game?
No, I kind of wish I did though.
Yeah, I wasn't there myself. Maybe Coach Brock. We got Coach Brock in the house. Coach Brock, what you heard about that 14U game? Did you hear anything about it?
Out on the seas?
From on the seas, I know. For the most
Yeah,
part,
he connected. He well connected.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
Captain Brock. All right.
Yeah, bro. For the most part, I heard that it was a wash. Like I from what I heard, that the Raiders went in and like kind of won the game. Wasn't a matched game, like, and they kind of knew that going into it. So I didn't hear a whole lot about it. I just heard that the Raiders kind of overpowered the team for the most part. That's all I heard. I want to kind of address the fundamentals, how I feel about fundamentals.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
The way that I see fundamentals, like that's one of the greatest techniques that you can have, like as far as anywhere. It take you not only through little league, it take you through elementary school, it take you through middle school, it takes you through the high school, collegiate level, and the high school, and the like the NFL or the pro level in any sport, because I played multiple sports, and my biggest thing was to learn from scratch, all the way up. Like I didn't want to come in and be a power hitter when I was playing softball or baseball. I want to learn, where I needed to find out where the ball at. I want to know ball placement, where I need to hit the ball at to, understanding my skill set so I can get the base. I don't want to just hit the ball far outfield and then I get caught outfield. I don't want to line up in the backfield behind a line and I'm just running touchdowns and I don't know the 2-hole or the 4-hole or the 6-hole. I didn't want to be on the defensive side and didn't know what a cover 2 was, what a cover 1 was. So fundamentals for me is a real big thing. And I tell every kid, like on every level, like learn everything that's going on the field. Even if you can't learn everybody else's position, learn if you can't learn everybody else's assignment, learn every position on the field. And the people that's next to you, learn what they're doing. It makes your job easy. I feel like that's what fundamentals are. And a lot of time, coaches don't feel like they have time because a lot of coaches say, well, we only got 2 hours a day to work with the kids. And depending on the age group, you only got about an hour and a half, depending on how long it takes trying to get them. But, if you're putting that time into them, it'll eventually come. It shouldn't happen overnight because fundamental is built. And like you all were saying, like per age level, like certain levels, kids will pick up this. And we had a 10U team that they wasn't fundamentally sound. We got a 6U team that's more fundamentally sound than a 10U team. So it's not a lot about the coaching staff. It's about what you present to the kid and what the kids can pick up. And I'm a fair fan of, you can't teach a kid anything. A kid has to learn it. You can line up 10 kids, show them the same thing, and only 3 of them may get it. So it's not you teaching it them, it's their ability to pick up stuff. Sometimes repetition has to keep happening, and that's for them to learn, not for you to teach. But if that's what it takes, you have to keep drilling into that kid or those kids for them to get the fundamental stuff.
I absolutely agree. And piggyback off of that, at this level, I mean, obviously we're at the 6U level. With me, 6U, even if I was on 8U, I like to put kids in multiple positions. They don't have to master all of them, but if I got a kid a wide receiver, he needs to know what a running back, what a linebacker would be trying to do to him on the other side, and vice versa. So the best way to learn that is if you played that position, you know what your job was. So you know what this guy is going to be trying to do to you from the other side, or either a DB or a safety. That's why putting them at this young age in multiple positions, they think back as they get older. Okay, I know what he's going to try to do to me. It helps them in that well-rounded way. So them fundamentals, I think, go piggyback hand to hand. What I tell kids say, I want to run the ball. Dude, you're going to be a lineman. And you're going to be a lineman. You're going to learn that first. Then we'll move to something else. Because you need to see everything when we go back to that. Even Coach Brock and Coach Chris will tell you, my running backs, they play linemen. Because them usually some of my best blockers. They're usually some of my best blocking guys. So I
Because they
rotate
know.
guys out like that. So fundamentally, I want them to know everything when they're young, because we don't know what this kid can be. He may be a wide receiver at 6U, and he may end up being a linebacker at 14U. We don't know. That's why you want to expose them when they're young to everything you can. And as they get older, they'll start specializing in something.
Take that experience to the next level with you too. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Mhm.
I guess what I want to do, speaking on fundamentals, I got two of my guys on here that's coaches, Coach Brock and Coach Chris, and they'll tell you the first thing I did, me and Dick sat down when I had to make his wife make him come coach with me. We
Drill
sat down and I
everything.
said, you know what? I want to make sure all of these kids know exactly how to block and tackle. I said, we're gonna win no matter what we got. We're gonna win and or lose. We're learning how to block and tackle. So I got a play on here from my game this Saturday. I'm gonna put it up and play it. And what I took from this play was I don't even look at the running. I look at our running back when he came out of the backfield. He took it all the way to the house, the first play of the game, and was never touched. It was never ever touched. So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna let you guys see it for yourself to see why we go over fundamentals, and we go over this every day. My coaches will tell you every day we start with blocking and tackling.
Yep.
All right,
I
here
knew
we
this was
go.
a video you were gonna play.
Let's go, Graham! Let's
Untouched.
go, baby! Let's go! Woo! Let's go! Woo! Let's go!
Now, it's some people that'll tell you that on 6U, I don't care what level you're doing that on. If you can take a touchdown through a defensive line and untouched, you got to commend that.
Yeah.
You just have to commend that. So, yeah, that's what I take from the fundamentals. We rep that every day. The coaches will tell you every single day, we go over blocking, we go over tackling. And we do that until my kids already know what's going to happen. So they don't get in their feelings about it. They know our practice is going to kind of go. We tell them, y'all get ready. This what it is. Time to go. So that's one of my, I like to walk the walk and talk the talk. We fundamentally sound. We try to be that way every day in practice. That's how we try to go on it.
I got a question, David. What's your son playing right now? What sport he playing?
Yep.
My son is playing baseball, travel baseball.
Did you do any coaching with any of either? Like,
No, biggest aspect of my son, like we were talking about earlier, base fundamentals. My son do a lot of private training, and a lot of private training is literally consists of the base fundamentals. He go to batting training, and he go to
Wait.
infield training.
David, so let me interrupt that.
Uh huh.
Because you're right, but let's go back. You started with him. Go ahead and
Oh yeah,
start.
yeah. At the beginning, yeah, from the get go, yeah. I'm not gonna say I created him, because you know the God Almighty created him, but his skill, his technique, yeah, it started
Fundamental.
at what we call it field 5. So we'll go to a regular rec field, and it just be me, him, and a net and a tee, and we literally started since 4 years old, and it was all the base fundamentals. I'm talking about
Fundamental.
videos of him looking like a robot grounding and throwing the ball. And so it's all the basic fundamentals till he he go out now to a game, and the basic fundamentals that what keep him in. He'll make a spectacular play, but in the day it's the basic fundamentals what we look at.
yeah.
Mhm.
I want to intervene on that too, as like from parent to parents and kid, and because I I parented my kids, and I kind of coach my kids at home as well. About a month ago, I called OJ, and it's funny that this came up because I called OJ. I was like, man, he posted a video about his son in the backyard doing drills, and I don't watch this little boy grow all the way up. Like I don't watch
Hmm.
him when he was little, and he was the little boy doing the drills in the yard, And then you see him in the game, he doing the stuff he doing in the backyard.
Mhm.
So I called OJ. I was like, listen, bro, whatever you doing with your son, like that junk is, I can see it. The boy doing
Right.
the same drill he doing back there in the backyard. He done hit it on the little kid and went down the field. I'm like, man, and it takes that, and it takes that because once you, like I said, you can line up 10 kids and try to get them that, and until that kid get it, like that's what it is. But you got to put that fundamental into the kid.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's where the magic happened at, bro.
Yeah, that's
Going
where it definitely happens. Cause even like I say with the training, my son used to go with a group. Even now, he don't even want to go with a group. He'll rather go to train by himself.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know with the baseball you got them in, and that's real competitive. I know we have a lot of parents and a lot of kids that cross the sports because I know we had a couple kids last year that were baseball kids. I
Baseball.
was back there by baseball field, so we had kids that say, "Oh, we want to play football too." Now come cross, but speak on the competitive nature of baseball. I know we always talk about it. They got all these different brackets that you'll be in, and it's way different from football. And I think a lot of parents don't know that. Well, how competitive is from your standpoint?
Baseball is extremely competitive due to the fact that you have different levels. You could be the same age, but a different level. So you can have a single A team, you can have a double a triple A, and a majors team, or USA Scout team. And each level trying to bump up to the next level. And so everybody is playing extremely hard. And you talking about my son, he's 12 and he's underage and undersized. So you talking about he's at a triple A level, underage, undersized. He turned 11 this season. He turned
Wow.
11. So he's still playing 12 triple A and he's shortstop, second base, and center field, lead off batter. And the competitive edge is just so dynamic because everybody knows who's the team to beat. Like we play against the Tampa Phenoms, the Wesley Chapel Storm, the Wolverine Fishhawk Wolverines. We play the Ostings. We play a lot of top tier teams. We go to Clearwater. We just left Vero Beach, no Melbourne. So we play a lot of teams, and each level you'll see the progression and the way the teams are stacked. Because some teams are good at recruiting kids. Some teams are good at just developing kids and the overall factor is a lot of kids who hit puberty first. Puberty first drives a lot of teams because teams want big kids for big hitters. They know they hit big bombs, they got a chance of winning. So when you talk about competition wise, you can go all the way down to a rec league. A rec league in Florida is the main route to go to the Little League World Series.
Oh wow. I
Yes,
did
so
not
we
know that.
actually played a team, we 11 and 12, and the team 12 and 13, that they went to the regionals in Little League World Series.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's very competitive. All that stuff you see on TV, yeah, we literally have representatives from here. Like last year, we had our 8-year-old team. They was one game away from making to the Little League World Series. They went
Dang.
all the way to Tennessee, beat Tennessee, came back to Florida in Ocala, and lost the last game to make it
At
to the
least
Little League World
they were
Series.
home. They ain't had to take that long drive.
That long drive to Tennessee and beat everybody. They went like 33-1 for literally for World Series events from rec. So and you got to understand those rec kids. A lot of those are travel ball kids. So they're mixing the kids now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so you got don't forget that I know quite sure football every sport have it that reclassification. It triggered down all the way to us.
Dang.
I got
Yeah.
you.
It
So
don't
you
work
12
really.
years
It
old
don't
playing
really,
with 13-year-old.
yeah, it don't really work with us. But they kind of try to jump leagues because
Yeah.
some league cut off age. So
Yep.
they'll jump league where they can go back and reclass. But it don't really
Yep.
work with us. Because it's only 15 days apart. For now, it's only
All right.
15 days apart. So that ain't gonna make a break a kid.
All right. Yeah, they,
And
they do it with us, and you got open tournaments like you talking about how hard is it with competition wise? In the fall season, they have they call it unlimited. So basically you reclassify kids, a team can have how many they want on their roster.
Oh wow.
But only
Wow.
in the spring, they limit it to only two per roster.
Dang. So
Yep.
to kind of piggyback off the topic, what he was saying earlier, like you say, your son is a smaller kid, and
Yes.
he's smaller for the sport, and he's still, progressing
Yes.
in the sport. Um, and like you said, a lot of coaches, they try to get bigger kids. Let me get this big kid
Yes.
to put on the line. So
Yes.
Coach DJ was talking earlier, and I was like, we got a little kid on our line that he's one of our smaller kids, but
Mm-hmm.
he's our line. He's better than a lot more of our bigger kids that's on our line.
Mm.
So a lot of times, and that comes from the fundamental stuff.
Right.
When you fundamentally teach a kid, like when we wrestle, like just wrestling, like the
Right.
smaller kids wrestling, because this dude buffed and stuff out here don't mean that he gonna win this match.
Right.
And we knew that because we went out there with fundamentals,
Right.
and that fundamental won a lot of matches versus that weight room. So
Trust me, we all three went down in our high school history for something in
for
that sport.
something, for
In that
something
sport.
in
Yeah.
that sport. So yeah, and that was all on fundamentals. So that's the importance of it, man. So
Yeah.
it is very important to teach these kids that stuff from the beginning. Present it to them because you can't teach it to them. Present it to
Right.
them. Find a way that they can pick it up.
Right.
Learn their learning pattern. Like
Right.
how do I keep drilling this into this kid until he get it?
Right.
Everybody be learning through cone. The ladder, I've never did the ladder drill. To this
Yeah.
day, if I go play flag football, I still shake somebody on the field, and I've never did the ladder drill coming up. So not to say that the ladder drill is bad, but it's not a necessity.
Right. It's a time and place for it. So take for an example, with my son again. My son, he's small, right? So if you're gonna play shortstop, second, and center field, you gotta have some wheels.
Speed.
And
Yep.
Yeah.
so we do a lot of stuff at the house, and it's gonna be a lot of plyometric type drill, explosive like drills. Like
That's what we do.
I don't need nobody to give me no ladder. I have two of them. I give one away because that ladder's not gonna get you fast.
Nah,
Mm-mm.
It's not gonna get you fast in baseball. If you don't know baseball, they time you in the 60.
in the 60s.
Mhm.
Yeah, the 60 in baseball.
What do
Wow.
you mean?
The
That's
60-yard
60-yard
dash.
dash.
Yeah,
not
they
Yep.
not
time
the
you in that.
40. Yeah, the 60.
Not the 40.
Yeah, not 40, but 60. So they looking for 6'5", 6'6", and under. And
Interesting.
you'll be amazed how some people just the speed low. Almost in any sport, speed kills.
Yeah.
Speed and power
Yep.
dictates a lot of stuff.
Uh huh.
Yep.
So if I can get my kid running a sub 6'6", 6'5", by the time he get junior in high school, he got a shot with just going to another level.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of my brother know I'm actually kind of pissed off at him. Football is my passion, and my
Yeah.
nephew got a lot of speed. He would have been an excellent football player, and he pulled my nephew for the doggone baseball.
Hey, he want to play football so bad. He want it. Just the system. You got to be in the right system where people want to teach you the fundamentals, not
Yeah.
where people just gonna play. Everybody got daddy ball going on, but you got coaches that don't know the basic fundamentals. They just
Yeah,
know I want to go win. I want the kid that look like a superstar already.
we almost had him a couple years ago. Did we just couldn't get the
I know,
schedule
right?
lined up? He was gonna
We,
drive
we
all
should
the way from Bartow, and he couldn't do it.
we
Yeah,
we could have used them that year too, boy.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's still ready. Matter of fact, Dexter, it was All Stars. We played in this for us to go Little League World Series. We got beat at semis. We played in Cape Coral, and they had competition. You know how you had like the home run derbies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he had the speed, and 11 and 12, he placed one, the fastest in 11U in the state of Florida in
Mhm.
that competition. And out of 11 and 12, he placed number 2 overall.
Damn.
Wow.
That's what's
Yep.
up.
Yeah, he's fast. That's why I
As
was
an,
trying to get him.
as an
Dix, no.
undersized kid.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but he's
Coach,
tough.
the fruit never ends, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah. But that's okay. His little cousin CJ gonna pick up for him.
They're gonna
He
pick
gonna
up
pick up
weight.
for him.
Yeah,
Down
but
the line.
it's all based fundamental what my kid doing. My brother could tell you, I put him in that backyard. You go on my Instagram. Even one of my oldest, he's an ex amateur boxer, and you talking
Yeah.
about basic fundamentals. It took him forever to learn the basic fundamentals.
Boxing hard.
But when he got him, you could tell different night and day. And Al can contest because he came to his first couple of matches that was when he was getting beat up on.
Yeah.
But when he got the basic fundamentals, he switched to a whole different animal.
Yeah, I absolutely
I got a big 6-year-old, so I can pretty much kiss that idea of that fast 60-yard dash time away. Coach Brock, Coach Al can contest. Even Brian can contest. Austin is by far and away not the fastest person on the field.
They got a spot for him. He could be a nice catcher hitting big bombs.
Yeah. I'm about to say they always have a spot for you.
Yeah, Austin's built like Big Poppy.
Oh yeah. Nice catcher, hit big bombs. First baseman.
Oh yeah, first baseman.
Yep.
I actually want to go to the show you guys another video. Now again, we're gonna go back to fundamentals because we preach this a lot. I'm gonna show you a play where you're gonna see a nice run. Don't pay attention to the run. Look at Carter on the right side of the offense. He's the right tackle. Watch this kid actually push over 3 kids when he make this block. And these some of the reasons East Bay could never get a foothill hold on them. Look at that right side of that line. Carter gonna push over 3 kids by himself. He coming over here. There he goes. Boom.
Let's go.
That was a good tough run, but I look at the intangibles. Look at that.
He just kept going.
Play it again. He said, should have kept going. Play it again, coach.
I'm gonna play it again.
No, I'm talking about the dude doing the blocking. He just kept blocking.
Yep.
Yeah, he just kept going.
He kept going and he knocked over three kids. So right in this area right here, it's Carter. There you go, right there.
Let's
Boom.
go.
Oh yeah, just stuff like that. And coaches will tell you we rep that in practice all the time. It's stuff like that that can make the difference. When we get to those tougher teams, I only need him to do that against 1 kid. He gave me 3.
Yep.
So we depend on our kids to get to their assignment and know what he's supposed to be doing. And Coach Chris and Coach Brock, if you notice, that was a nice down block. That's why everybody went left. So they know their schemes and everything. If I wanted to run right, technically, depending on how that play developed, we could have went right and went. But I saw what we needed to see to that left side, and Carter just did his job, whether that play was going to him or not.
Hey man, I put our offensive line up against any 6'2" team right now. I mean, just besides the fact that we got bigger kids, they are both fundamentally sound.
Exactly.
Like both our bigger boys and even some of our smaller ones, man, they get it. It clicks with them. They understand it. And sometimes I don't know who said it earlier, but sometimes it takes a while to click. Mm-hmm. But for some at an early age, man, they can pick it up and they can run with it.
Exactly, and this is
we got lucky with the fact that like Austin and Carter for being the bigger kids and we put a lot of our smaller kids up against them in practice for that reason. So we'll take because Austin and Carter are in a less of words significantly bigger than most of the kids on the team. Mm-hmm. So we want to get that. That feeling for some of our smaller kids that we have to put on the line. We put them up against those big boys because, hey, this is what you're going to deal with. Mm-hmm. Not every line, not every running back, not anybody is going to be the same size as you. You're going to get mashed up against the bigger kids. And those fundamentals in blocking and tackling, that's where that kind of comes into play.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That actually come down to fundamentals, and like I said, we rep that blocking every single day. We don't go past that. Matter of fact, that's the first thing we do when we come out of warm-ups.
First thing.
Get some water. It's time to click clack. It's
Yep.
time. They know that. And I want to play one more video as we come down to the end, and this gonna be to us fundamental of blocking. And I want to show this because a lot of times I'm not watching the kids. I can't watch everything, and they know that. I mean, excuse me, the fundamentals of tackling. And what you'll see is I want you to look at the kids, how they rally to the ball. And that's key. These are 4, 5, and 6-year-old. And
They do it so well.
They do it well. They already rallying to the ball. And you're going to see
Get
coming
off!
down the side right there. They go Graham. And now all of them get to the ball. And I'm going to play that again because that's not easy to do. And they do that to us coaches in practice. Us coaches, they'll tell them, we already know they coming at us. They trying to tackle up.
Oh, yeah.
They get on my nerve with that stuff.
Get off!
They go Austin. Austin got blocked a little bit, but they go Graham. There you go. So we took care of business. And those fundamentals for me are the key to taking care of that business. You got to start there, or it's hard to do anything else. It's just hard. And we got to start there. Any closing arguments from anybody or closing information anybody got?
No,
Dad, Bob, I'll let you close. What's your overall assessment over fundamental growth and how that play into the upbringing of any child in a sport? Give me your synopsis, Mr. David.
If you're saying something, Coach, I can't hear you.
Y'all can hear me?
I hear.
Okay.
Dave, you gotta unmute yourself. You muted.
No, I know that. No, I can hear you now. Before it was like static.
What's your overall assessment on bringing a child up with the fundamentals and how that translates into the older bulk of life? Still can't hear me?
It went back to static, so I can't hear, but you keep going.
Okay.
We almost went through the whole thing with no problems.
There we go. Now I can hear you.
All 3 minutes.
Okay.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, give me your closing thoughts on.
No, it's just Al I can't hear.
Okay.
I know. You gonna give me my nephew back to football?
No, he just don't want to hear you anymore.
He said what? He said
He's
what's
sick of
your
hearing you
overall?
talk.
He said what's your overall assessment about fundamentals and sports with kids?
Oh, fundamentals. Fundamental is the basic foundation that you got to have with kids. And I think the more that coaches and the kids can understand that they learning the basic fundamentals of the game, I think it make the game that much more fun for the kid because they know what their job task is. They know how to do their job because somebody gave them the tool to do their job. And as we stated earlier, you got to have the basic building blocks to move forward. And I know we like to put the cart before the horse. We want Randy Moss, but Randy Moss got to learn how to line up. Randy Moss got to learn when he outside, we either A receive, B receive, or the slot receiver. So the basic fundamentals that's key. A lot of people like to put the cart before the horse because they like the NIL dreams. They like, he going D1 dreams, he going pro dreams. But if he got a chink in his armor with basic fundamentals, a good recruiter or a decent program gonna sniff that out. Or another team gonna expose you for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta have the basic fundamentals. There's no way around the basic fundamentals. No way around it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Coach Brock, I'll let you chime in your overall assessment.
Yeah, I feel the same way because once you put a kid out there and on personal experience, once you put a kid out there that know what they're doing versus a kid out there that don't know what they're doing, if you put an athletic kid out there that doesn't know what they're doing, they're gonna give you something. They're not gonna give you what you want them to have, but they're gonna give you something. You can put a kid that's not as athletic out there and he know his task, he's a lot more confident than the athletic kid out there. So I'll take fundamentals over the athletic kid that don't really know or have that fundamental.
Right. Because once you go out there with no fundamentals, you out there surviving at that point.
That's it. No game plan.
Yeah, no game plan. You're surviving.
I absolutely agree. Coach Chris, what's your synopsis, your take on it?
So I don't think we really touch base on this, but I think fundamentals extends a little bit past the athlete too. Sometimes as a coach, you got to go back to your fundamentals because that kid is a reflection of your coaching and the fundamentals that you're instilling into that kid. So if you're not linked up on your own fundamentals, you might be teaching the kid the wrong thing, or not even the wrong thing, but not the right way in a certain situation. So I think fundamentals at every level, just not even just athletes, but as coaches too. Sometimes you got to simplify some stuff for some kids who might not pick up on something as fast as other kids do. So, and I find like I'm doing that a lot myself at 6U. I got some kids where I can spit some knowledge to, and he's going to pick it up. And then I got some kids where I got to, I really got to simplify it where I can see it in their face. They understand.
Yeah. So I absolutely agree. And for me, I'm going to sum it up in the 2 words. When I look at a kid, especially a kid on the 6 and 8U level, and I can argue that with 10, but especially when we get them to where they have literally nothing, they just raw. They everything they learn for the first time, we're going to teach them. I look at present and future. So what I mean by that, I look at what I'm going to teach them that they can use now. That's the first thing. Then whatever I teach them, what's going to be important for their future. That's how I look at it when I look at these kids. So that's how I would sum it up. All right. With that being said, I appreciate everybody for coming on. I hope I can get all y'all guests on here for another appearance. And parent David, I'm hoping to get some feed from my nephew that I could put up and we can headline for those parents that want to see some baseball next time. I know you got some, so I have some ready next time, especially from one of these big tournaments that you go to all the time. I need some film on them, but we'll go from there from next time. I appreciate you all for coming on, and we'll end this T.A.Y.S podcast event for this evening.
Yeah, I gotta ask real quick, man. What short straw did you draw where you skipped out on the beard genetics? Looking at your brother. What happened?
Hey, career choice.
Because I'm the oldest.
No, he's not. He's the baby brother. It's one.
That's my little brother.
The oldest.
No, that's even worse.
Yeah.
He said career choice.
Yeah, career choice.
Different direction.
But don't worry. When the career choice over, I'm gonna blow him away.
No, I gotta see that. I gotta see that.
All right, guys. I appreciate y'all for coming on. See y'all guys in another T.A.Y.S exclusive. Y'all have a good evening.
You're tuned into the one and only Tampa Bay Area Youth Sports.
We mean what we say and say what we mean as Raiders. We stand on black. The order been judged by 12, never carried by 6, you haters. We stand on black. Build our own empire to focus on kids, go figure. We stand on black. Keep talking that smack, make you meet the grave digger. Why dress on black? Withered the storm when we lost our field. Raiders all white when we signed a better deal. Providence crossed us, yeah, they did us wrong. A rival for life, wrote them off our favorite song. Ravens met a team of sharks that's ready to bite. Stay ready to not get ready. Somebody send that kite. Meet us at the 50-man line, that ish up. Here come our cheer team, killing the back tuck. Owls and alls coming from the sideline specs. The Riverview Raiders are back, really, what did you expect?